The legal battle between rapper Jay-Z and attorney Tony Busby has taken yet another dramatic turn. The two have been locked in a contentious back and forth, both in courtrooms and on social media, following Busby's amended lawsuit accusing Jay-Z and music mogul Diddy of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000. Both men have vehemently denied the allegations. Jay-Z's team responded swiftly, issuing a strong denial through Roc Nation's social media channels. The rapper also accused Busby of extortion, referring to him as a deplorable human and an ambulance chaser in a cheap suit, questioning Busby's integrity and ethics. Busby fired back, alleging Jay-Z was attempting to bully and harass both him and the plaintiff, stating he would let the courts handle the matter. Now, a new lawsuit has emerged, adding fuel to the fire. Filed on January 3 in Harris County, Texas, this 13-page complaint claims Jay-Z's legal team and Roc Nation are involved in a bribery scheme targeting Busby and his law firm. The plaintiff, Jose Maldonado, is represented by none other than Busby's own firm. The lawsuit alleges that Jay-Z's attorneys, including Marcy Croft of MJ Legal and the prominent firm Quinn Emanuel, conspired to obstruct justice. It claims they orchestrated a campaign to persuade more than 24 current and former clients of Busby's firm to file lawsuits against him. Roc Nation is accused of financing the operation, while Croft and other attorneys allegedly directed the effort. The suit also makes bold claims that operatives, posing as state officials with fake badges, approached individuals with offers of up to $10,000 to sue Busby's firm. According to the filing, some of these interactions were recorded, capturing details of the alleged conspiracy, including operatives admitting the lawsuits were intended to generate media coverage. Interestingly, while Jay-Z himself is not named as a defendant, the lawsuit argues that Roc Nation and Jay-Z are synonymous, as he is its founder and chairman. The suit highlights the ongoing legal battle between Busby and Jay-Z, including the original rape lawsuit filed in New York federal court and Jay-Z's subsequent defamation lawsuit against Busby in Los Angeles. Jay-Z's legal representatives have consistently denied any involvement in the alleged bribery scheme, both in court and in public statements. As the accusations continue to escalate, it's clear this high-profile legal showdown is far from over.
I want to give a huge thanks to you, our viewers, and our amazing sponsors like Upside. Upside is a super cool and free app that gets you cash back on daily essentials like gas, groceries, and restaurants. Whether it's a nice restaurant or a quick grab-and-go meal, I can use Upside for both. And guess what? I can use Upside to get cash back when I do. It's really so easy and simple to use and completely free, so why not try it? It's actual real cash back too. It's money that appears in your Upside app that you can transfer straight into your bank account. So here's what you do. You download the Upside app, claim an offer for whatever you're buying on Upside, you pay as usual using a debit or a credit card, and follow the steps on the app and get paid. You can use Upside at places like Dunkin' Donuts, Cinnabon, Pinkberry, Chipotle, Taco Bell, 7-Eleven, and so many other places. So why not check it out and see if your favorite spot is on the app? To find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside, or scan the QR code on your screen, use our promo code LCNews, and get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. Again, that's promo code LCNews for an extra 25 cents back on your first gallon of gas.
Jose Maldonado, the plaintiff in the latest lawsuit, claims he was used as a pawn in a broader scheme orchestrated by Marcy Croft. According to Maldonado, two individuals acting on Croft's behalf made repeated attempts to contact him. These efforts included visiting what they believed to be his residence but turned out to be his father's home. Maldonado alleges the individuals identified themselves as federal officers during the visit. After realizing their mistake, they allegedly persisted in contacting Maldonado. Once they finally connected with him, Maldonado claims the individuals misrepresented themselves as state officials organizing a lawsuit on behalf of Croft and her company. Maldonado alleges they pressured him into participating, with promises that his case would be assigned to someone who could secure him significant financial compensation. Instead of cooperating, Maldonado reached out to Tony Busby's law firm, which is now suing for solicitation and civil conspiracy. Busby, in a statement to the Houston Chronicle, described Maldonado's claims as proof of unethical and illegal conduct. He stated, The conduct alleged by Mr. Maldonado is illegal and unethical. We know investigators have gone all over the United States illegally contacting our former clients to try to entice them with money to sue our firm. According to Mr. Maldonado, we now know who is behind this effort. We won't be intimidated nor deterred in our important work. I expect more lawsuits will follow as we continue to hear former clients report this egregious conduct. Marcy Croft, however, dismissed the allegations as baseless and retaliated with her own strong statement to the Houston Chronicle. The lawsuit reeks of desperation. For over 25 years, I've dedicated my career to exposing and dismantling networks of fraud and manipulation. I didn't ask to be a part of this fight, but now that he's dragged me into it, he should know that I'm not someone who backs down. Mr. Busby should be worried. Truth and justice are on my side, and I have every intention of holding him accountable. With both sides doubling down, the feud between Busby and Jay-Z's legal team shows no signs of slowing. As allegations and counter-allegations continue to pile up, it seems this legal saga is only growing more complex and contentious.
It doesn't seem like the back and forth between Tony Busby and Jay-Z and his attorneys are slowing down anytime soon. So let's bring on attorney and litigator Rich Schoenstein to get his take on this. Rich, always great to see you. What's your reaction to this lawsuit, especially since Tony Busby has made these allegations before?
Yeah, well, there's this whole sideshow now between Tony Busby and the lawyers who are purportedly representing Jay-Z, especially Quinn Emanuel. There's been some litigation already, and now this is a new suit down in Texas that to some extent is kind of a sideshow, right? The main question are still these really salacious claims against Sean Combs and against Jay-Z and potentially against other people about what happened. And now there's all this stuff between the attorneys that is very interesting for a guy like me, but maybe a little less interesting to others. I don't know.
And why do you think, Busby didn't name Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z specifically, instead the suit named Roc Nation as a defendant, but the suit also claims that Roc Nation is kind of financing this whole alleged scheme?
When I read a complaint like this, and I read the whole thing, I never know if it's true. I don't know if anything in this is true or not, and I make no judgment because I'm not in a position to make a judgment. But even assuming what he alleges is true, he has a problem connecting it all the way up the chain. He has this attorney who he says is down in Texas trying to get clients of Busby to pursue malpractice claims against him. And then he says she's working with Roc Nation and Quinn Emanuel. And he has some examples of her working with them, but on projects that are wholly unrelated to this matter. So he's already got a problem, even if he can prove that she did something wrong, connecting that up to Quinn Emanuel and then up to Roc Nation. It would be another step to connect it further to the owners of that company.
And, it was interesting kind of reading through that lawsuit as well, too, because, the plaintiff in this case claims that he was a pawn. But in your opinion, do you think in a way he's also being used as a pawn through the Busby law firm?
Well, that's a really interesting way of putting it. He is a piece at play, pawn or rook or I don't know what piece. And yeah, it sounds like if you accept everything that's alleged in the complaint is true, then what he's saying is these people came down to me at Texas and tried to get me to sue Busby for malpractice. And they offered me money and they lied to me and they told me they were affiliated with the government and they told me Busby was going down and they gave me all this misinformation to try to solicit me to sue my lawyers. And then you're absolutely right. Now, Busby is using that person to be a plaintiff against the others because he probably doesn't have standing to bring a direct claim in that regard. I'm not sure he can sue this other lawyer, Marcy Croft, for going after his clients. I'm not sure he would have a claim for that. So he's using his client to do that part of it.
And what do you also make of kind of this allegation that all of this was caught on this audio recording? Do you think that this audio recording is going to be kind of like, the nail that hit the head, or kind of like this damning proof that they claim it to be in this lawsuit. But what are your thoughts on this alleged recording as well, too?
So it's interesting. I've been in cases where there are audio recordings, and the decision is always, when do you mention it? Because I've been in cases where you don't say anything about the audio recording. You let the other party swear up, down, and sideways that they didn't do it, and then you play the tape, right? That's one way to do it. So coming forward in a complaint and saying that we have these audio recordings, remember, this is all, not just litigation. This is all also publicity. So I think the reason it's in this complaint is to tell the world, take these allegations seriously. We have them on tape. I've also found in my travels that audio tapes don't always sound like exactly what the party proffering them thinks they sound like.
Yeah, and it seems like this kind of legal back and forth between Tony Busby and Jay-Z. It seems that, Busby has mentioned that, or said that he believes that Jay-Z is harassing and bullying him. But when it comes to this particular lawsuit, Busby mentioned in his statement to the Houston Chronicle that he expects more lawsuits will come out as they keep hearing former clients report this alleged conduct. What do you kind of make of that? While Marcy Croft, who seems to kind of be at the center of this suit, said this lawsuit reeks of desperation.
Yeah, so I don't know if there'll be more lawsuits or not. I mean, didn't Busby say he had 120 clients back, right? So he hasn't filed 120 lawsuits. He hasn't filed anywhere near 120 lawsuits. I don't know if that's because he's strategically sequencing them, or maybe he's resolved some of them. I don't know. That would be possible. Or he's decided not to bring some of them. So I'm only going to go by what is actually filed in court. I can't speculate if he has other clients who are willing to be chess pieces.
It just seems like it's a puzzle and a game that just won't stop. In the past, We've seen Jay-Z's attorneys also fire off some written responses, lots of motions, but that was slammed by a federal judge because of their attacks on Busby. Do you think they'll continue to kind of go with that aggressive tactic, or kind of change up their strategy going forward?
I think you're always augmenting your strategy, but Quinn Emanuel is one of the top tier law firms in the United States, and they're excellent at litigation. They're highly aggressive, so it's no surprise, and they'll make every motion they think they need to make. They'll bring every claim they think they need to bring, and they will zealously represent their client. At the same time, if you start getting shot down by a judge, most lawyers will change their approach a little bit, at least with that particular judge. So we'll see. But I expect them to be very aggressive. They and Busby are really butting heads here, making it rather personal in a way that detracts from the real issues in the case, but it is what it is.
And in your opinion, how do you see this even being litigated at this point? Or do you even see this happening anytime soon?
Well, I mean, you have a mess, Elizabeth. So we have the important complaints are the people who allege that they're victims of sexual abuse and discrimination. Those complaints are coming in the federal courts, and they need to be litigated. And of course, you have criminal proceedings against Sean Combs, and that needs to be litigated. And that's going to be at the front of the line, because you're going to do the criminal proceeding first. And then you've got these civil proceedings, and then you have these sideshow claims by people suing Busby, and Busby suing Quinn Emanuel, and now this guy Jose Maldonado suing a bunch of people, including Quinn Emanuel. They'll all move at different paces. This latest one is filed in state court in Harris County, Texas. I don't practice there regularly. I've had cases down there. I don't know how quickly it'll move compared to anything else, but it's a mess of litigation. What would take years to get through if it all goes all the way to verdict.
And talk to me really also about civil conspiracy and solicitation. What are the defendants kind of looking at if they are being held liable for those claims?
Well, that's interesting. And so again, this is Texas law. which is not my expertise. They are claiming that in Texas, barratry is illegal. Barratry is essentially the solicitation of a client to bring a lawsuit. And different states have different rules on the extent to which you can advertise, you can reach out to clients, you can suggest lawsuits. And I don't know what the current state of Texas law is, but I will accept the proposition that it is to some extent illegal down in Texas. I mean, that's a lot to consider, but he's got to prove that they did something illegal. He has to show that he had a private right of action to pursue it, and he has to show damages.
All right. It's a lot to kind of consider. And I feel like, I've kept on mentioning that it doesn't seem like anything is going to be slowing down anytime soon. Rich, I want to thank you so much for your insight into this and kind of breaking all of this down for us. Really quickly, before we sign you off, is there anything else about this suit that you'd like to add?
Not about this particular suit. I mean, this is a growing mass of litigation. The underlying lawsuits, to me, are the really important things that need to be figured out, because there is some very horrible, egregious conduct alleged in these cases. I don't know if that's true either, right? None of us really know what's true and what's not true. So that needs to be sorted out. Some of these allegations by the attorneys against each other, I sort of am dismissive of them. I've referred to them as sideshows, but actually, if some of it is true, it would be troubling. Some of the allegations about the way Busby has gone about looking for clients are troubling. These allegations about what this lawyer was doing down in Texas to contact his clients, if true, would be troubling. So it's a lot, Elizabeth.
It's a lot and super messy. And I guess we'll kind of have to wait and see how this all continues to play out from here. Rich, I want to thank you so much again for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. See you soon.
At this time, Roc Nation and the lawyers at Quinn Emanuel have not publicly responded to the lawsuit, but they previously denied Busby's allegations. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Elizabeth Milner.